It's 10 p.m. on the 14th of April, 2008, and young people full of dreams have just finished their evening reading. And in Uganda, it's commonly known as prep time. The dormitory matron has prayed for them, and they are headed to sleep. 2 hours later, which is about midnight, an arsonist torches the dormitory. And all of you here know, when young people of primary going age have had their good supper, and at the end of a long and tiring day, retreated to their beds. So they were deeply asleep. The fire starts at Nasolo Dormitory at Budo Junior School, and one of the girls who was lucky to wake up ahead of others realizes that the dormitory is on fire. There's a lot of choking, and she runs to one person whom she thinks should escape this fire first. She runs to a dormitory captain, and for this talk, I will refer to her as Michelle. And when Michelle is woken up, she, instead of escaping, tries to look for a way out for her and the rest of the girls. Luckily, there is a window that doesn't have a burglar proof, so she gets hold of a broom handle and smashes the glass open. All this long, the girls, the young people, are shouting, crying out, and choking. But Michelle, being the leader, she pulls out the first batch of girls with difficulty through that window. And they are all shouting, "Michelle, you are going to die. Get out of the dormitory." And she replies, "I can't let my friends die." After the first batch, she pulls out about 11 girls from the accounts from her friends in the second batch. On the third attempt, a huge timber from the roof, having been weakened by the fire, falls on Michelle's head. She falls down and burns to death. The story of Michelle became prominent in the news in Uganda 10 years ago. She died at the front line of service to humanity. She was later on honored, of course, posthumously as a hero. But the people that she saved are now about 20 years of age and university going. But she lost her life at only the age of 9. We have all heard or read or been exposed to stories of people who, when pressed in leadership, are willing to pay the ultimate price. The most famous is Nelson Mandela. He went to jail for no crime for 27 years. The other leaders that we know of paid the ultimate price, like the story of Michelle. Now, this Michelle of Budo Junior, like they have told you, I used to have a comfortable job in the coffee sector, had profound impact on shaping the work that I do right now. Friends and I asked ourselves, Michelle is long dead. Who will save the next batch of humanity? And then 2 years ago, we made a decision to start Leadership Square Africa. It's an idea, and some people prefer to call them organizations, but we are not an organization. We are an idea about mentoring and nurturing the next generation of African leaders. We do this by going to schools and universities and challenging young people with the story of Michelle. When we are not in schools and universities, we organize monthly dialogues dubbed Mazungumuzo. If you've been in Kampala, at the end of every month on Friday, and you have time at 6 p.m., we host our dialogues for 2 hours where we don't invite experts, but we invite people that we call heartparts. These are people that share their stories of inspiration of leadership from the heart. Because sometimes experts can lie. So over the last 2 years, we've grown this dialogue into 2 more districts. At the end of every last Friday of the month, we have young people gathering in Mbarara and Gulu to discuss and handle topics that take humanity forward. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if the Africans and the African continent does not have conversations that matter, we as a people, we are headed to the wrong direction. Let me just paint a picture for you about the questions that we ought to be discussing about. Have you wondered why the most naturally gifted continent in the world is also home to the poorest nations on earth? Does it bother you that as the rest of the world is dying from lifestyle diseases, the African continent is plagued by epidemics? I mean, who dies of epidemics in the rest of the world? People are choosing lifestyle diseases. This morning, after listening to the brilliant ladies that have come here to share their stories, you would be wondering, why is it that on the 7th of December, this year of our Lord 2018, Naguru TED Talk has an assembly of young, brilliant ladies talking about gender-based violence. As we are doing this right now, there are other young people of our age huddled around computers in the Silicon Valley, creating the next product, multi-billion product, in terms of Facebook, Twitter, and all these other apps, as we talk about, is it right to beat our mothers? Is it right to meet our sisters? Is it right to rape our own wives or girlfriends? Ladies and gentlemen, it's my contention that for us to overcome petty conversations and challenges in our society, we must raise the bar of the caliber of people we call leaders. Because, look, a survey by the Aga Khan Foundation at the beginning of this 10th Parliament of Uganda revealed that 9 out of 10 members of Parliament don't have a mentor. So what we are left with are members of Parliament who lead by instinct. Now, once you lead by instinct, scenes like this on the screen are bound to be the normal rather than sitting to legislate about policies, policies that advance a society. And we at Leadership Square Africa, we believe that every society that progresses must invest in how it trains its leaders. I don't know at your family level, what kind of leadership are you offering? Have you asked yourself before you go to your organization, what quality of leadership you have at your own organization. To just make a conclusion about why we think the way we train our leaders matters, and I would like to call each one of you to join us in this cause of training our young people to understand that personal leadership is the ultimate measure of national leadership. Because the way we have structured our society is that we spend most of our time studying engineering, studying science, studying how to even become brilliant economists. But at the end of the day, all these policy things that we do as experts, at the center of them, or at the head of them, at the helm of these experts, we have people that we call leaders, especially political leaders. They lead out of instinct, leading experts. And in the end, what you have are people like, in my story of Michelle, who will be woken up from sleep in times of trouble. There is corruption going on, there is a disease, there is gender-based violence, and the first thing they do is to look inside themselves. Or are we raising a caliber of leadership that in times of trouble of countries like Uganda or developing countries, that when they are called to serve, they look at leadership as a call for responsibility, not entitlement. If you're going to take away one thing from Naguru TED Talk this morning, it is for you to be like Michelle. Michelle went in first time, she saved people. She went in second time, she saved many lives. So as we live here tonight, may you go in your society, help the weak, give hope to people who have no hope, like the incredible stories that we have heard from our sisters. I want to be that change. I am that change at Leadership Square Africa, and you too can be that change. Thank you very much.